Okay, hi everybody. Before we get started, I have a kind of an exciting announcement. On December 24th, Christmas Eve, and on January 31st, I'm going to be doing kind of a special spiritual program. And I'll be doing it at 12 noon. And basically, on both days, details about it will be in the web on the website and also in email. Uh, and again, if you're not on our email mailing list, you can put it in the chat, and we'll basically make sure you get the information. Okay, so that'll be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Okay, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, so I'm looking forward to it. Um, Also, I want to mention we'll be doing a different Zoom number, so you have to get that detail from the website and email. Okay. I also just want to mention the fact that everything else going on, both here at Starting Point and everything else we're doing, uh, we'll be open through the holidays. The only 2 days the Starting Point will be closed will be Christmas and New Year's. Okay. Okay. I want to do something different today. Okay. I really wanted to start off with two small readings because it fits right into the stuff I want to talk about today. So our topic is spirituality in the holidays. The first reading, both these readings are from the For Today book, which is one of my meditation books for my eating disorder program. Okay, the first reading comes from December 13th. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Nothing could better describe what so many of us in recovery feel than the words of amazing grace. For us, however, the experience is not a religious, but a spiritual one. Whatever our beliefs or non-beliefs, spiritual recovery is felt as profound inner change, dissolving of the attitudes and opinions that kept us chained to compulsion. Spiritual awakening heals us of self-will blindness to the truth about ourselves and our condition. We are no longer wandering, alone and lost. We are found. And for today, that people so deep in the clutches of compulsive illness can recover is truly the evidence of amazing grace. And the other reading I really enjoy because we need to do more of this right now. It's from December 8th. Laugh and be well. You will never know how many people have been cured of both major illness and minor indisposition through laughter. If prescriptions for laughter could be written and filled, there will undoubtedly be a sharp rise in the health and well-being of the population. The best recovery meetings are those in which there is the most laughter. To those irresponsible souls, irrepressible souls who find humor in their experience and share it with us, we owe a debt of thanks. For today, we're going to bless the comedians and the humorists in our midst. I posted that on Facebook yesterday because I really believe very deeply in the power of humor and the power of laughing. And sometimes, even in some of the toughest situations, we have to learn how to laugh at ourselves. A good psychiatrist friend of mine I worked with at Charter Fairmont years ago, he worked in the field of recovery. Dr. Johnson used to say all the time, if you happen to wake up in the morning and you're having a bad day, and at 12 o'clock it gets worse, at 2 o'clock, go sit in the corner and laugh, even if it's not funny. It's cheaper than going into a psychiatric hospital, and you don't need an insurance card. I love Dr. Johnson. He has such this great comedian sense of humor when he worked with people. But he used to teach us something which is really important, that sometimes we have to laugh at life, even though life may not be going the way we think it should be going. That laughter is not because it's funny, it's laughter because it's helping us to cope and deal with a situation. I learned a lot of this from the old timers in AA. Because years ago, both at the South Philly Clubhouse and the 4021 Club, a lot of the old timers were comedians. They really were. And I'm grateful for them because they really looked at life and the journey of life through the world of laughter and through the world of recovery. And they taught us to try not to overthink take things too seriously, and just try to adjust to what's going on in life. So today I want to share with you some things about spirituality, but I want to take it a little bit differently. I want to kind of have today what I call a spiritual pep rally. I like pep rallies. I can't help it. I got to tell you a story. I like stories. But back when I was a young priest, I really was at one time, by the way. I really was. Okay, back when I was a young priest, I was just 27 years old. Wow, that's a long time ago. But anyway, when I was a young priest, I taught at Sacred Heart High School in Vineland. And guess what? I was in charge of the cheerleaders and I was in charge of the spirit club. Now, how the hell I got the job at being head of the cheerleaders, I have no idea. But we had fun. What can I tell you? So the bottom line was we used to always, our spirit club, try to build up the spirit of the place. So we had pep rallies, all kinds of stuff. But I got to tell you a real funny story. We had a nun that was in charge of the school, and she was a little uptight. What can I tell you? She came from the real old school, and everything about her was rigid. Everything looked like the world was going to come to an end tomorrow. And she was constantly kind of looking at everything's negatively. And so one year, I forget, I think it was 57, and I mean, not 57, I forget when it was. It was my second year there anyway. That would have been 1967. So anyway, during that period of time, Sacred Heart for the first time went to the state finals in the Group C basketball. And basically, we were so excited because we were in the final game. And I'll never forget this because we had to do everything possible to coax sister to come to the game. She would never come to the game. And so we got her there. And at the end, it was the nail biter, and Sacred Heart won with a shot right at the end of the game. Of course, when they won, the stands went crazy. And the next day in the Vineland Times Journal, there was this wonderful photograph of sister cheering and the coach slapping her on the rear end. I never got a big kick out of that. And it was right in the front page of the Vineland Times Journal. And for the first time, we really got to laugh and to enjoy life. I love that concept. I really believe in the concept of spirit. See, spirituality is developing your personal spirit. It's going within and experiencing the gift we have inside of ourselves. Our spirit makes us who we are. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is special. And we're the ones that have to activate that spirit. We live in a world today where there's a lot of craziness going on, a lot of division, a lot of stuff going on with the pandemic. And it's almost like the world can become very scary. But it's up to us to be able to adjust to this way of life. And during this holiday season, to somehow embrace the spirit of the season and be able to look at it in a positive way. And that's why I wanted to share this concept of what I call a spiritual pep rally. Because I'm learning in my own life that I really have to work hard on being able to look at things through a different set of eyes. So my real spirituality and my real spirit, and I'm grateful for this today, is realize the fact that I can do one of two things. I can give in to the insanity of the world and be miserable, or I can adjust and not let that take over my life and be able to adjust to new ways of dealing with things, new ways of celebrating, new ways to having fun, new ways to opening up doors. That's really up to me because my spirit is mine, nobody else's. So therefore, I got to be able to open that door up and have some fun with it. And so as we look at this world today, I want to kind of share another story with you. Now, some of the old timers in here, I guess that would be Charlie. But anyway, some of the old timers in here, may remember this movie. I can't remember the name of it, but it has something to do with the heart. But the one scene in the movie I'll never forget. The scene was done during the Second World War. It was done over in France, and the movie was from France. And you have to visualize this. You have the German army and the French army battling each other. But they're battling each other right next door to an insane asylum. Now, the two armies are fighting each other and killing one another. The people in the insane asylum are singing, dancing, and having fun. And the question was, who's really insane? And I always never forget that scene because I looked over and over again that people that are considered to be crazy, considered to be insane, were having a lot of fun, while the people that were serious were at odds with each other and driving themselves crazy. And I really relate that to recovery because I really believe that we have to learn to loosen up in recovery. Because we can do two things in recovery. I can analyze myself to death. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Please don't tell anybody, all right? Wayne, make sure you don't tell anybody. But basically, this is really important. You can work on yourself till now, till 10 years after you're dead, and you will still find something to work on. Congratulations. So maybe we have to take some time and back off a little bit. Just be able to go with the flow and realize the fact that we really can't control what's going on in the world, but we can adjust through recovery to be able to have a positive attitude, to be able to have a sense of humor, and sometimes just to be able to look at this period of time called the holidays, to look at it through a different set of eyes. So we have to learn how to have some fun, how to loosen up a little bit. But to do that, we have to have a sense of faith and a sense of trust. We have to be open. You know, we look at certain things, even such things such as Hanukkah, which starts tomorrow night, by the way, at 4 o'clock. And the beautiful thing about Hanukkah I love is the festival of lights. It's almost like it's a celebration. And yet we have to make sure that we take time to celebrate. First of all, celebrate who you are. Celebrate your uniqueness and your specialness. Celebrate where you are in your journey in life. I always remember one of the things I was taught very early in my recovery, but for the grace of God, I am where I am today, and I have to be grateful for where I am and realize that, but for the grace of God, I could be someplace else. And I understand that a lot better today than I ever did before, because I look at how things in life kind of happen. And we can't explain a lot of things. We don't know. So basically, we have to understand and compassion what's going on in the world, especially those who are losing their lives, those that are sick, what's going on around us. And we have to have a sense of compassion, but we're also going through a sense of grieving. It's almost like we're grieving the loss of how we celebrated the holidays in the past. And now we have to adjust to something new. Part of us will get angry over that because I can't be with the people maybe I want to be with. Maybe I can't do some of the things I used to do. But the one thing I can do is create new ways of dealing with things in my life today. And I have a lot of gratitude because I really believe that we can interconnect with each other differently. I'll give you an example. Every year we have a staff Christmas party. We have a lot of fun, and we play all kinds of games and do all kinds of stuff. Well, this year, of course, we can't do that, but guess what? We're having a staff Zoom party, and we're doing it differently. We're going to play the white elephant game. By everybody sent in money. We bought gift cards. We have a whole bunch of different gift cards and envelopes, and you can steal from one another and have a lot of fun. So we're doing everything with different gift cards from different places. Then afterwards, we're basically going to play some games, and we're going to basically be able to do things that are crazy and give some prizes out. But we also were told to wear, our crazy sweaters. So we can have an ugly sweater party along with it. And we'll give out prizes for that too. And so it's so much fun today to be able to do things differently. So it's almost like because of what's going on in the world, we're creating a different environment and we're doing things a little bit differently. Instead of rolling over and saying, oh, I can't do anything. No, get out of the pity pot. Work on your spirit. We need to have a pep rally. Open up the doors, have some fun, get some spirit. Open that energy up. Look at things differently. We're taught in our program the gift of faith. We're taught so many times the gift of trust, to really realize the fact that somehow, some way, something good and beautiful will come from all the struggles and things that we go through. I can't answer that, but I know, and all of us that are in recovery understand that. Because it wasn't for the struggles you went through, if it wasn't for the things you experienced, you wouldn't be here today. And so the bottom line is, we also realize there are many of us who aren't here today. And we're grateful for them too. Because sometimes, unfortunately, things happen in this world. So I realize over and over again that I have to work on adjusting. So the Festival of Lights, take a ride around your neighborhood. You can isolate in your car, or if you have someone with you, go with them. Go around the neighborhoods, look at the lights, look at things around you. I always love this time of the year because it's almost like for some reason, our little dark neighborhoods begin to light up. And there's like energy in that. There's something special in that. My wife and I have a tendency very many times just to take a ride every once in a while, to look at the lights, to go to different neighborhoods, to see different displays. I always love going to the place in Pittman and see that beautiful display. I hope they do it again this year. But I realize over and over again, I may have to stay in my car this year and do it. That's okay. To be able just to see these things. We used to go to Cape May and walk around. I can still go to Cape May and walk around. I have to wear a mask now, that's all. And that's okay too. And so I can do a lot of things today. And the mask is kind of nice. It's wintertime, so it keeps my mouth warm. I have to look at it in a positive way. Okay, so look at all these things. They even have masks now you can put on over your head and things. All kinds of crazy stuff you can do today. And so what I'm saying is, right in the middle of insanity, there can be joy. And I have to be able to build that spirit inside of myself as an individual. And believe it or not, our 12 steps teach us this. They teach us to have a sense of humor. If you don't think you're funny, I told you this so many times, everybody should do this every day. It'll get your day started wonderfully. When you wake up in the morning, run in the bathroom and stare in the mirror. Now, if you don't laugh, you are sick. That is the funniest scene on the face of this earth. Isn't it neat? We have to learn to laugh at ourselves. And sometimes we've got to laugh at life, even when life is not going the way it's supposed to be going. I've learned over and over again, and most of you know, one of my favorite, a lot of my character is Snoopy and Charlie Brown and people to that effect. And I love just the way they look at life. And I love the Christmas story of Charlie Brown. I love all those beautiful things that we have. There's so simple and beautiful stuff in life. And I really believe that the higher power is trying to teach us stuff every day of our life, open up new doors for us. But he's also trying to tell us, you got to have a sense of humor. Sometimes you just have to laugh, even when it's not funny. Because sometimes laughter is just a therapeutic tool. It's releasing, it's letting go, it's letting stuff out. And to realize the fact that each and every one of us has gone through so many things in life. And yet it's okay to look at new ways of celebrating. I mean, look at Santa Claus. This is the time of the year when Santa Claus comes, and I hope you do believe in Santa Claus. Never stop believing. That's real important. The Polar Express is one of my favorite stories, and I love it. But the concept is, I believe very deeply that there is a Santa Claus inside of each and every one of us. It's the spirit of service. It's the spirit of giving. It's the spirit of sharing. It's the spirit of opening up. So there is a Santa Claus inside of us. One of my favorite little things I have in the other room is a beautiful major scene of the baby Jesus with Santa Claus kneeling in front of it. The connection between the two. Now, I posted on Facebook a few days ago about St. Nicholas. And I love the aspect of St. Nicholas, who was the beginning parts of Santa Claus, the giver. He was a giver of the poor. And what he taught us was to share things. And sometimes it's not gigantic things and a lot of stuff. It's the little things that count. Go to the dollar store, buy a little gift for somebody, a simple little thing. Share. Maybe give something to somebody as a surprise. Share some of the things you have inside of yourself. Share the gift of yourself. It might just be acknowledging another human being. It can be simple little things. And I'm going to tell you the story of a little girl, and I love her. I've met this little girl quite a while ago. I met her over in Philadelphia, and I went to visit the family because one of the things that we used to do back then is we used to bring gifts to families at Christmas time. And I went to visit her, and I had with me, a little miniature train. It was an engine because I always used to carry little trains with me because and my father was a railroad man, and I remember spending a lot of time on the railroad with my dad. In fact, I'll tell you a story about that before I get to the little girl. You know, when I was a kid back in the 40s, my father worked for the railroad, my mother worked for Camel Soup. So they needed a babysitter for me. So my father would take me to the railroad yards at Second and Clinton in Camden and put me on the shifter engine. They had an engine that would just stay in the yard and shift cars all day. And so the engineer was my babysitter. I used to get in the engine every day and ride around with him all day, bring my little shovel and put one axe of coal in at a time. So I was his other fireman. I look back on those things today and I get a big smile on my face. That's why I used to carry those little trains. But the little girl saw the train that I had with me that day and she said to me, she said, "Mister, can I play with that train?" She took it from me and she started crying. And she said, "Mister, can I keep this train?" I said, "Sure, you can have it." "Oh, thank you. This is going to become a special treasure to me. It's so special. Thank you so much." And she hugged me and kissed me. I don't know what the train meant to her or anything else, but it was that little tidbit, and that, these are little trains. So what did they cost me? Like, I don't know, $1.50, little piece of plastic. But for that little girl, it was $1 million. See how special that is? You never know when you're touching another human being. And so during this season, be a little bit of Santa Claus. Do something special for somebody next to you, a neighbor, or somebody to that effect. It might just be a small thing. It doesn't have to be big. Let people know you care about them and you love them. And sometimes even letting people know that is enough. So little things that count in life. The other thing we look at too at Christmas time is the birth of a child, a little child. And I love the Christmas story because guess what? The child was rejected by so many people and literally went to where he was born in Bethlehem because he was scared to death of what Herod was doing. So basically, so many of us came into recovery scared half out of our mind. And we didn't know what we were getting into. And all of a sudden, there's a new birth, the birth of a child, the celebration of a child. I really believe there are angels watching over us. And some of those angels are people that have left us, even some of those who have died from this disease. I feel they are our angels today, and they're part of our journey. And I'm grateful for that today. I look at each and every one of these celebrations, even Kwanzaa, which is such a powerful celebration. Kwanzaa is a celebration of abundance. We stop and think how much beautiful things we have. Be grateful for them. Be grateful for what we have. Don't worry about what you don't have. That's okay too. Also, an abundance about our culture, about our background, where we came from, to look at all the things that are connected together. And I love all these different celebrations that try to teach us to look at things. So take some time. What I'd like you to do is, and you can do this with that lady, I think her name is Mrs. Google. That's the name I give her anyway. Anyway, Mrs. Google, you can actually look up Hanukkah, get all the information about it, and look at it as a way to celebrate. You don't have to be Jewish to do this, by the way. Just do it, because you'll learn a lot from it. You can look up the elements of Santa Claus and what that's really all about. It's amazing. Mrs. Google knows all this. So maybe what you need to do is build a relationship with Mrs. Google. She's getting to be my best friend. What can I tell you? I even told my wife, I'm not cheating on you. It's just Mrs. Google. That's all it is. So it's a fun part about life. But you can also check with Mrs. Google about Christmas, the celebration of Christmas. You can talk about the concept of Hanukkah, what it's really all about. This is a time when you have time now because you're home. Get on there, get Google working for you, and learn all these different things. It's so much fun when you come right down to it. And what I'm learning more and more is I'm really enjoying all this. And so what I'm learning is, yes, the world is hurting, and I can pray every day that somehow, some way, we find a way out of this. And I know the way is not going to be magic. It's going to be time. It's going to be struggle. But I have to look at things in two different ways. I have to be able to celebrate. These are the holidays. These are a special time of the year. It's the end of the year too. I know 2020 wasn't the greatest year on the face of this earth. We went through a lot during this year. But I can reflect back on it. And that's where New Year's Eve and New Year's comes into play. And I love sharing this story because it's a story that I experienced. I'm going back now to the early days of Starting Point. And every New Year's Eve, to raise money for Starting Point back then, we used to have a New Year's Eve party. It was a combination of people from Narcotics Anonymous and people from AA. And we always did it at St. Thomas Church at 18th and Morris in South Philly. It was right, not that far from where Starting Point was. And they would let us use the hall. And basically, we had a disc jockey, we had people, we had food, tons of food. It was unbelievable. We had a lot of fun, dancing, having a good time. Somebody even brought belly dancers. I don't know how we got them, but they showed up too. Everybody kind of showed up. We had fun. But they did something very beautiful. I used to love this. At 11:30, right before midnight, we would all stop the music, and in the gymnasium, we'd all form two gigantic circles with our arms around each other. And we had somebody from the program share on gratitude for the year that was. And so we spent time in quiet and listening to sharing and being grateful for all the things we had experienced during the course of this year, being grateful for life, being grateful for the things we're going through in the course of our journey, and being grateful for where we are today. And then at 12 midnight, instead of, shooting guns off and banging and screaming and yelling, we had somebody share on the beautiful concept to be open to where the higher powers are going to take us in the year to come. And so we actually took time to say goodbye and to say hello. I always love that tradition. It's beautiful. And I really believe very deeply in that tradition. And I've encouraged people to do it. It's one of the things I want to do when I do the New Year's program. Because I really believe we need to be able to release the past, open up to the new. And that's the secret to everything we do in the course of our journey. And that's an important part of what this really is all about. And so, yes, the holidays are here. And yes, we're going through a lot of turmoil. And yes, we have those divisions and things that are happening in the world. And I pray every day that somehow, some way, we can go through a healing process. But healing, I have to say this, unfortunately, comes through a lot of struggle, a lot of pain, comes slowly and in time. Anybody in this group that has gone through surgery or anything to that effect, and you have these wonderful doctors who say it's a simple operation, be over in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But then isn't it amazing how long it takes for the recovery process to take place? It doesn't happen overnight. Remember one time I had my foot done and operate on, and he said, "Oh, you'll be able to do everything you want to do in 48 hours." Well, it actually came to be 2.5 weeks. See, it was nice to think about that. But in reality, I had to realize the fact that things don't always happen the way I want them to happen. They're going to happen in God's time and when they're supposed to happen. And that's why it's so important that each and every one of us take time spiritually to look within at our own spirit. Be able to celebrate the spirit of life. Just thinking for a couple of minutes, by the grace of God, we are here today. We are on this earth There's over 250, almost close to 300,000 people who have lost their lives. We pray for them. We hope their angels connected around us today. And so we have to have a real sense of gratitude. And so our spirituality teaches us to have a spirit. Your spirit is who you are. Celebrate. Even if you're by yourself, dance a little bit. If you have pets, dance with them. Have fun with them. We have to learn how to really readjust this holiday season to be something new and different for each and every one of us. And I want you to be able to look at this holiday season with a positive attitude, even though I know it's going to be hard. But it isn't part of grieving. Sometimes we're going to go back and forth. We're going to struggle. But remember, reach out to somebody. Just say hello. Maybe it's just a gift of love. Some little things. Maybe just have a sense of humor once in a while. Help somebody else to laugh for a couple of minutes. Just be loose. Loosen up. I think sometimes we have a tendency, I got this disease, I'm sure you do, especially if you have a card saying you're a good codependent. One of the diseases you have is that we think too much. We analyze too much, and we try to figure it out. Good God, stop trying to figure life out. Life is to be lived, not to be figured out. How do I know where we're going or what's going to happen? I remember an old timer in AA, and kind of excuse my language a little bit, but remember an old timer in AA used to say this. He used to say, "Did you wake up this morning? Yeah. Did you move your bowels?" He said something else. I'll clean it up. Did you move your bowels this morning? Yeah, you got it all out, didn't you? Good. Now, work your damn program and get the other stuff out. I used to love him. It was crazy, but he always talked about that. And he said, we all have crap. It's a better word. I got to be careful what I say here. But I mean, we all have crap. So I have a choice. I can sit in my crap, and by the way, it still smells, or I can process it, and it becomes fertilizer for recovery. See how simple it is? It's not complicated, is it? Good God. So celebrate your crap. It's part of life. As a result, then you're going to realize something else too. I tell people one of the most beautiful things in life is something called an emotional physic. That's the fourth and fifth step, by the way. The sixth and seventh step, the eighth and ninth step. It's an emotional physic. Take all the crap that's inside of you and you get it out. Isn't that fantastic? So I look at recovery as a laxative. It's fantastic. Greatest laxative on the face of this earth. Charlie knows that. So it's a beautiful part about it. And so really in reality, you have to be able just to get it out. And once you get it out, guess what? You feel better. There's a relief. That's what the amazing grace really is all about, why I read that today. Because we are amazing. We really are. Good God. Look how far we've come. Look how many things we've experienced. Look at what we've gone through. Give yourself a break. Enjoy. Celebrate. And joke with one another. And have some fun with each other. I know sometimes it's not funny, and that's okay. But funny doesn't have to be funny. Does that make sense? Yeah. Funny doesn't have to be funny. Funny can just be funny. And sometimes I've loved to be around people that when they share their story, they look at what they went through and they can have a sense of humor about it, even though it was insane and it was crazy. But the bottom line is you have to think about this through the eyes of laughter. You came through it. So there had to be amazing grace. I mean, look around this room right now. Look how many amazing graces we have around this room right now. Look at Patrice. I look at Carol. I look at Denise. I look at all these people. They're amazing. It's unbelievable. Even you too, Wayne, not a problem. But the bottom line is we have to realize the fact. This is what we're going through in life. I mean, look at Giovanni. Look at that smiling face. It's fantastic. All these things are beautiful in life when you come right down to it. So we have to learn to celebrate life and celebrate who we are. That's the key to everything that we do. And so I really believe very deeply that during this season right now, think about that insane asylum. Sometimes I think it might be fun to be insane. Have to think too much. But basically, think about the insane asylum and the two armies fighting each other. I love that scene. So who's crazy? Sometimes we get crazy and nuts in this world over power, over greed, over land, over all kinds of stuff. And we do the same thing in our personal life too. It's not about material things. It's about spiritual things. And so this is the holiday of spirit. This is the holiday to enjoy spirit. Your spirituality means adjust to the times, adjust to where you are, get the best you can out of it. And it's the little things just to enjoy. It might be a cup of hot chocolate. It's very good during the holidays, and if you're really good, you might put a couple marshmallows in it too. It might just be a simple little thing we do with one another. It might be a smile. It might be a Christmas card saying I love you and I care about you. All these beautiful little things in life are so important. But look around at the people around you and look at them in the eyes of gratitude. Don't be afraid to say to people that are part of your journey, thank you. Thank you for being part of my journey. And so what I want you to do is I want you to be part of the pep rally. And so we're going to have a spirit club now. It's called the Spirituality Club. It's fantastic. So work on developing a good spirit. Look at all these different holidays that are coming up. Look at the history behind them and be able to celebrate all of them. I'm not just going to celebrate Christmas. I'm going to celebrate every one of them. Tomorrow night at 4 o'clock, I'm going to light the Hanukkah candle. We have one at the clubhouse. I'm going to go down there and say my prayers and start it up. I actually, somebody gave me the prayers in English. It's fantastic. I really should be able to do them in Hebrew because, believe it or not, I took 2 years of Hebrew in the seminary. I have no idea what the hell I took, but we had fun then. So it's a good part about it. I look back on those days. I actually took 5 years of Greek and 2 years of Hebrew. And I can't say one word of Hebrew or Greek because we never learned how to speak it. We learned how to translate it. So it's crazy. So you look at life and say, wow. And yet, that's what life is all about. So many different things you can experience. So remember, Hanukkah, Christmas, don't forget Santa Claus. And basically, don't forget Christmas, the birth of a child, the birth of a little child inside of each and every one of us. Because deep down inside, we're all little kids. So go to the dollar store, buy yourself a gift. Have some fun with it. You can even break it because it's only $1. Isn't that fun? Go crazy with it. That's unbelievable. We buy everybody else gifts. Buy yourself one. Buy a coloring book, my favorite thing. I love it. I got 3 of them out in the sunroom. It's great to have a coloring book during Christmas. My granddaughter always comes over and we color together. She's 22 years old, so we color together. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. And yet that's what it's all about. The little things that count. And so I guess my prayer today is that we celebrate and we honor our spirit, because your spirit makes you who you are. And so in a very special way, I want to say in gratitude for each and every one of you, because I get to be part of your spirit. You get to be part of mine. And to me, I get so excited over that, because you're my family. Come on. I got so many brothers and sisters, man, it's unbelievable. Got so much fun with them today. I even let Wayne be part of that, but that's all right too. He's the bad boy of the family. That's all right. We have to learn to laugh and joke. Charlie, I don't know. We got to talk about you afterwards. All right. Not a problem. I love busting those 2 guys. They're good. They're good spirits. Right, Carol? Good spirits. That's what it's all about. So thanks, guys, for being here. Celebrate, enjoy. And next week, we'll finish this little mini series by doing on holidays and relationships. And just for those who weren't here at the beginning, I just want to remind people, I'm going to be doing 2 special holiday programs, spiritual programs, on December 24th and also on January 31st at 12 noon, just for an hour. I'm going to be doing a spiritual program based on Christmas and based on New Year's. And so basically, we'll be doing them, and details will be on the website. And also, if you're on our email mailing list, then we'll send the Zoom number and all that wonderful stuff out. Because now we're Zoomers, isn't that great? Wow, we have a new name now. Now, you're a baby boomer, now you're a Zoomer. You know, I'm not even a baby boomer. I'm a war baby. Wow, I go because I'm before 1945, so it's crazy. But now I don't. I want to be a war baby or a baby boomer. I want to be a Zoom baby. I'm a Zoomer now. It's fantastic. So enjoy being a Zoomer. Okay, let us pray. God, we come before you as a family. We come before you in the spirit of joy, the spirit of sadness, the spirit of life. We ask you, God, to help and bless us during this time to be able to celebrate you, to celebrate all the things that we have, to celebrate in gratitude. We ask you, God, to please work with us. We thank you for those who have gone before us. We even thank you, Lord, for those who have lost their lives for one reason or another. And we ask that they now are able to be connected to you and be angels on our path. We have so many angels behind us. We know that deep down inside, we are all amazing people. We have your amazing grace inside of us. Teach us to be open to it. Teach us to be able to have a sense of humor and to be open to the joy of life. Enjoy and celebrate each minute, for we know not about tomorrow. We only know about today. For you are the architect. You are our guide. You are our strength. So we pray for the spirit of celebration, the spirit of life. Thank you. And every day, Lord, we ask you, please, be the head of our spirit club, because you are the one that will help us on the journey each day. We ask and we pray this in your name. Amen. And now I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and we'll close by saying the we version of the Serenity Prayer.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will, not mine, be done.